It seems safe to say that Meyerson Hall, home to Penn's School of Design, has never, in its 60 years of existence, been what could be called an iconic design.
Let's just say it didn't come from one of the great periods of American architecture. It's a very functional, straightforward concrete box with little character, but with the kind of bones and structure that we can transform into a set of spaces where our students can learn, connect, interact, and become the professionals of tomorrow.
The building is sort of a period piece in the sense that the time that it was built, other architecture schools all sort of adapted this sort of brutalist aesthetic, which is not always very people-friendly.
Because the building sits at the corner of 34th and Walnut Streets, a gateway to campus, it cries out for a more striking architectural presence.
Meyerson itself, as a fixture on the campus, is really critical to how people perceive Penn, because they're typically coming from Center City, from 3rd Street Station, and they're going to go by the Singh building, which is terrific. And if you've seen the renderings for Meyerson, when you have the north facade, which is kind of a glass part of the building, that looks somewhat like Singh, it sort of ties it all together, but it really sends a message about that the university is on the move, a very progressive university, that we're very thoughtful in terms of reuse and conservation when you think about keeping Meyerson alive as a building, but just modernizing it and contemporizing it. And then just the functionality of what we can do in there and accommodate design labs, think about 3D printing and fabrication labs, and having an exhibition space and having better meeting space.
While Meyerson Hall functioned well for many years, given the radical changes in design education, it no longer does so, as Dean Taylor explains.
Education now is on a completely different direction than it was in those days, and it very much is looking to what the workplace is going to be like, and we are very intent upon creating an experience which will make it easier for our students to move from school into the workplace and to take the leadership roles we expect them to take as they do so. We had spaces where people clustered together, hunkered down over their desks. The instructor of the studio came around, leaned over, often grabbed the pencil from the student and said, "You should have done it this way." Now we live in a world of technology. Data is readily accessible to us. Models are built, but they're often built with digital tools, and all of that goes on rather simultaneously in the studio. So our process of transforming studios in Meyerson Hall has been to integrate technology so that we don't have to move to the technological space, but rather can have it in a study space that's very much like the workplace that the students will enter.
The ongoing renovation of Meyerson Hall promises to restore the building to relevance, with 2 floors of studios already revamped and work on a 3rd floor currently underway. The final phases of renovation will include the creation of a new high-tech fabrication lab and the addition of a striking curvilinear glass annex to the building's north facade. When that work is complete, Meyerson Hall will become the building that Penn's world-class design education school so richly deserves. For Dean Taylor, that moment will be especially rewarding.
Every architect has in his heart the desire to build for the future and not for the past, not for the proven, not for the standard, but for the exploratory, for the kind of space that can support the way we want to work today. Today, we're working in teams. We're working in cross-disciplinary teams. Planners, artists, architects, landscape architects, preservationists may be sharing a space using different tools, but coming together frequently to interact, because the solution to the complex problems of urban development and urban life today require various disciplines coming together. We need to be well served by technology, not driven by technology. And we're building studios and occupying studios and using studios now to emulate that kind of experiment. We think our plans for the future are really exciting, and we look forward to continuing to work with those who have been generous already and with others who are interested in helping us chart the course for a bold future for design.